Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be checking out the new class that just came out last night, which is the Rogue in Last Epoch. Now, if you guys are new to this action RPG, just as a heads up, this game is still currently in the beta, but they just launched a huge patch that added not only this class, but the subclasses as well. And there's a few new things with this game, so let's go ahead and hop right into it. So first off, we will be showing off the BladeDancer. What you do in this game, if you're new to Last Epoch, you start off with a base class, and then you have some subclasses to choose from. Now, Falconeer is not available right now, but the options are BladeDancer and the Marksman. As if you've played Path of Exile, think of it kind of like an ascendancy over here, but we went the BladeDancer. So if you really like the ninja fantasy class, this is definitely going to be one for you. But let's go ahead and just show off some gameplay. I'll talk a little bit more about what's new in this latest Last Epoch update, as well as showcase some of the newer things that's been available in the game since I had last covered it. So how this class works is we basically summon these clones. The clones will mimic some of our skills. Unfortunately, they do not mimic every single one of your skills, but it's definitely a very fun class to play. It almost reminds me of Psylocke, if any of you guys have played Marvel Heroes, which I really did enjoy. So we have a dash attack that also has a clone that gets summoned, and then it'll go ahead and actually mimic one of our skills, which is going to be the Shadow Cascade. So it's a little like a blade that spins around. Oh, we just got a legendary. Man, that's a good start to a video. But anyways, so that's pretty much how I've built the character, but there's a lot more skills, and I want to show you guys more of the skills here than anything. Versus, this is not going to be a build guide, as I'm still kind of leveling up this character, but I have all the skills available for the BladeDancer. So one of the skills that I'll be using over and over is Synchronized Strike, which is going to go ahead and give me a bunch of clones. It gives me 4. It defaults to 2, but I have gotten an upgrade. Now, if you're new to Last Epoch, this is going to be kind of overwhelming, but cool at the same time. Every single skill in this game, and I mean every single skill, has its own separate skill tree, which is really awesome. There are some overlaps, like there'll be things where it grants you more damage, or it'll grant you like life or mana on hit or kill, or some kind of mechanic that might overlap, but every single one of these has its own skill tree, which is really, really cool. So some of the skills might be different than the vanilla versions if you guys just hop into this game. Pretty much in terms of how I built the character, I activate this, it summons clones, this goes ahead and does a spinning blade, and all my clones do it as well. Our little dash over here, which is called shift, it will also go ahead and do a little spinning attack, as well as grant us a clone that will do the same. Now, I can do my spinning attack on my own, but I usually want to go ahead and have the clones so I can get more of a benefit from it. But that's basically what I've done for this build. Now, there's a few other skills that I want to show you guys. One of them is decoy. So what it does is it throws down a decoy, and the enemy will be distracted by it, and then it will go ahead and explode and do some damage after a duration. We also have this ability called Dancing Strikes, which is really cool. It's a very active skill, which I really like. I usually just use it for bosses, but how it works is you basically get to go ahead and hold it down, and it just goes ahead and does like a string of combos for attacks. But there's also clones that will be summoned on the second attack, and there is a 10% chance on our Shadow Cascade. Our Shadow Cascade will be activated when we use Dancing Strikes over here, because I got upgrade. So you have a chance to use Shadow Cascade when you use Dancing Dagger. So there's kind of this synergy of like incorporating multiple different skills into your build over here. Now, these aren't all the skills available. These are all the skills that are available. And I want to go ahead and show you guys all of the skills that I've acquired. In fact, we have every single skill, but because I'm BladeDancer instead of Marksman, we won't show that off. But what's really cool with the Rogue, when you start off, the skills will work with a bow or a melee weapon. And I'm going to go ahead and show you guys those skills as well. So we'll go ahead and just show off all of the skills here. We'll go ahead and start off with well, I already showed you Synchronized Strike. That's to grant us the clones. And then we have Lethal Mirage over here. This is actually the final skill that you get in your passive tree. So how it works is you'll put points into the passives, and as you put points into your passives, you'll unlock these skills as you put more points. Like you'll get the Ballista once you go ahead and have Rogue at level 15. And then once we have BladeDancer at level 30, we're going to get Lethal Mirage. So now we have every single skill for this class. Now, Marksman, that's a separate subclass. It's kind of like Ascendancy. You get to pick one of these over here. And this is the one we have chosen. So I'll just show you guys all of the skills, because that's the kind of the point of the video. Because this is the class that I was really excited about. I want to see all the skills. So this is the Lethal Mirage, and here's what it looks like. I want to go ahead and also just eliminate the enemies. Our build is supposed to be very, very squishy, but we're supposed to be able to basically dodge all the damage, but we might take a lot of damage here as I'm trying to explain things. But that's what Lethal Mirage does. That's the final skill. And then we also have the Ballista. So this one's pretty easy to show off. All it is someone's a Ballista and it shoots. It's just like you would expect it to. Now, obviously, you can modify it to do more things. You can make it attack slower. You can make it pierce. You can make it shoot fire arrows, and you can also. What's interesting with this is you can actually throw a poison flask on top of the ballista, and it'll actually proc it to do poison damage, which I think was a really cool touch. But anyways, the whole point is to show off all the skills. So that one was the ballista. We already showed off Shadow Cascade. That's this skill over here. And then the next skill is going to be Puncture. Now, like I mentioned before, you can use all of the skills with a bow, or you can use them with a melee weapon. So this one is just let's go ahead and find a target over here. I'll show what it looks like. So this is kind of what it looks like. Wow, we're getting really lucky with these drops. All right. But anyways, that's Puncture. And again, you can modify every single one of these skills. However, you only have the specializations are locked. As you level up, you'll get more of them. But I cannot modify, let's say, Puncture unless I go ahead and put it in a skill slot. Now, I can completely unspec out of this entire skill, and basically it'll change the level of it back to a base level, which you'll increase your base level as you go ahead and progress in the game as your character levels up. But pretty much, I don't want to respec this, but I can, if I want to put less points into something, I can basically respec. But I can also completely respec out of the skill, and then I can go ahead and level up the skill. That's how I get these skill points to put into modify the skills that we have. Like, for example, the Shadow Cascade, I've actually increased the radius as one of the modifiers over here on this one over here. Here we go, Rapid Expanse. So you can put points into things that would increase the damage, or apply, let's say, like a debuff, or shred armor, or apply other status effects on enemies as well. But anyways, yeah, that was Puncture. The next one is going to be Cinder Strike. I'm gonna go ahead and just show it off. This one, every few attacks, it will go back to what is it called? It's called the first attack on it. The first attack on this one actually is much better. The first attack also creates a fire explosion that damages nearby enemies, and a lot of the things off of this skill tree all modify the first attack to be even stronger, because how it works is it deals additional damage of fire damage, but it's doubled for the first attack. So you really want to try to increase the first attack of this, but there's a skill point that makes it so you don't have a second or third attack, but it makes the mana cost 40, and normally it costs 0. So there's a lot of modification. If you really like digging deep into a game like Path of Exile, this is definitely a fun game, because I had a lot of people come in while I was live streaming the game. And if you guys want to follow me over on Twitch, it's the same as my username over here on YouTube, just Slaydra. But there are a lot of people that came in were asking, should I check out this game? I think the game is really cool as far as the depth goes. It's still, again, in early access, but I would say if you like to mess around with games in early access, there's a lot of content here to have some fun with. But the game is still being worked on. But anyways, moving on from that skill over here, we have Smoke Bomb. So we'll go ahead and we'll have to wait for the cooldown on that one to go through. And while that's going through, we'll go ahead and show off some of the other skills like Shurikens. Just throw Shurikens. Again, all these skills can be modified further, but I just don't have them modified at the moment. And then we have that Acid Flask that I showed off earlier. I mentioned that if you have the Ballista, you can make it shoot out acid, which is really cool as well. So here's what the smoke looks like. So you'll get increased, you'll have haste, which is increased movement speed, but you can modify the smoke to grant you extra buffs, or potentially even debuffs over here, where you can make it so you have a chance to actually poison the enemies when you do this. Again, every skill has its own skill tree. I'm not going to go in depth on everyone, otherwise this video would be like an hour long over here. The point is just to show you guys all of the base skills. And this is Flurry over here. Click on that. It's just like a fast set of attacks. Now again, you can use bows with all of the skills as well. Some of them will be different though. Like this one, I can't use it because it's for the BladeDancer, but all of the basic rogue abilities, you can use it with either. So I can still use Flurry. Now how it behaves is a little bit different. Now Flurry with the bow is 3 rapid attacks, which is kind of a little bit different versus the other way it would work with just a melee weapon. And with puncture, it's just like a piercing arrow. Whoops. We'll go ahead and show that one off because it's different. And then the shurikens are going to be the same anyways for this. But we also got dual wielding. That is something that's new to last Epoch as well. I want to go ahead and actually go over that real quick. So you also have quivers as the offhands on a bow. But in terms of dual wielding, because this is a question that I had gotten asked, can you dual wield anything? So in your main hand, you can wield whatever you want, but on the offhand, as long as it's a one-handed weapon, you can't like run a two-handed, obviously. But you can run a one-handed whatever, and then in the offhand, it's limited to swords or daggers. Now, depending on what you go ahead and do for your class build, you can go ahead and decide what you want to go ahead and use. So you can get increased damage while dual wielding. Pretty much if someone's going BladeDancer, more than likely they're going to be dual wielding anyways, but you don't have to. But there are also changes to your class if you want to run like an axe, because you can see weapons of choice, which is a set of passives that you can put points into. So you can do extra damage with maybe poison chance, or you can get glancing blows, which is basically a source of damage reduction. You take, I believe it's coded for 35% damage reduction when you get hit when a glancing blow was actually activated. But you can see that the builds can be kind of changed depending on what weapons you equip as well. Right now, how I'm making this build is all about dodge, so basically we just don't take any damage. And as long as we're at full HP, I've got a bunch of points into this, which grants us extra damage while at full health. And we're pretty much going to be at full health most of the time anyways, because again, my survivability is really tied to my dodge chance, which right now we have 62% dodge chance, and there's also a thing called glancing blow, like I mentioned before, that we'll be kind of putting some points into. So if we do happen to take damage, it's at a reduction anyways. But in terms of the passives, I really like the BladeDancer. A lot of the stuff increases not only your damage, but like dexterity will scale your damage. And on top of that, glancing blow will also, if I hold Alt, it'll tell me more information on it. And it makes it so it deals less, glancing blows deal 35% less damage. So we'll take less damage with this. But yeah, I've showed off all of the skills there are. I'll show off like the final ones, because this is what usually people are interested in. The passive was like the last few set of them. So we have increased damage at full health. And then we have 2 stacks of perfection per attack at full health, which is for another mechanic in the game. There's also increased shadow damage, which is, of course, our little shadows over here. And then we can have a maximum of 3 shadows at once by default over here. But you guys can see we have 4 when I go ahead and use our Synchronized Strike, which is another set of passives that I have actually put points into over here. It's called Dark Allies. It grants 2 additional shadows. And it exceeds your maximum number of shadows as well. So there are a lot of modifications that you can do. There's a lot of modding in this game in terms of like changing things up to make your builds completely unique, which is something I really liked with last Epoch. And this is not a sponsored video, by the way. I just genuinely liked this game. But in terms of, if you are wondering, do I recommend this game? If you're okay with the game in early access, like the game is relatively smooth. I really haven't had issues with the game like crashing or anything like that. There's a lot of like placeholders and things that are still going to be implemented on, but in terms of like the gameplay, it's already there. We are technically missing the other specialization, which is the Falconeer, but the game is definitely in what I would consider a playable state for an early access game, and I'm having a blast just thinking about all the build ideas. And obviously we have to get some of the items, like for example, there are set items in this game where if you have multiple, you know, you'll get bonus effects. There are like legendaries or unique items in the game which will grant you some type of awesome ability. This is just for movement speed, but it also has increased effective shock. I'm just literally using this for the movement speed though. But there are things that can completely modify your build as well. There's also a thing that's kind of interesting called All In, which is that you'll deal way more damage with your crits as you put more points into them, but you'll do less damage with non-crits. So there's different ways to go ahead and again make your builds more, I would say, unique. And that's basically a showcase of the new class. But anyways, let me know, guys, what you think of this newest update. Do you guys like it? I'm absolutely loving it. This is the class that I'm 100% playing when the game launches. And I'll probably give you guys a follow-up video, as I kind of wanted to give you guys a video day one showing you guys all of the skills, because that's one thing I was really interested in seeing with this. build over here. And like I said, it's just so much fun, especially when I get to go ahead and just teleport in. And we'll do a little bit more gameplay here because I wanted to explain everything, and I want to try not to make this video too long. But there's just so much to explain because, again, I know that some people are looking for a new action RPG to play, as PoE's next league isn't coming out for a while here. And in Diablo 4, I have no idea when. But this is a game that I've been playing for a little bit. I've got like 50 hours in this game in terms of on Steam. They technically had another client that you would get before. But just as a heads up, it is not a free-to-play game. It is going to be costing, I mean, I'm not sure what the full retail price is when it eventually launches, but to give you guys some info on the game right now via the Steam page, I'm going to go ahead and just pop it up so you can kind of go ahead and check it out. So in terms of the game, in terms of the price point, it is technically on sale right now. And then on top of that, if you're wondering what the reviews are, it's pretty good. 89% I would consider pretty good overall by the Steam review. So overall, those are my thoughts on the game, as well as showing you guys the new Rogue class and the BladeDancer specialization. But anyways, thanks for tuning in, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like on it. And if you want to see more Last Epoch stuff, I definitely do plan to cover at least this class for sure in depth. And maybe we'll do a build guide, because I had a couple people ask, like, dude, you're doing so much damage. Can I have a build? But like, I want to try to get things min-max and give you guys good advice versus like what I have currently right now. But in case any of you guys do want to screenshot what I've put my points into, here it is. But I'll definitely make an updated video when I get max level and we get to basically the end game. But we're like almost there, and I wanted to go ahead and make this video really quick for you guys. But if you guys are new here and do want to see more of this, subscribe, turn on that bell, and you'll definitely see more Last Epoch in the future, as well as more action RPG content. But if you have any questions on Last Epoch, let me know down below in the comment section below, and I'll try to answer them. As you know, when there's new action RPG, I'm always wondering certain things as well. But anyways, take care, guys, and I'll catch you on the next video. And I'm signing out. Peace.